Kelly, and I'm a small business owner here in Ottawa. And I've heard a lot of really great promises being made this evening on the part of all the candidates, and I'm sure they're very heartfelt. What I'd like to know, though, before I cast my vote, is what has each of you already done in and for this community already? So if I could hear from everyone, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll start with Ms.
Well, it's a great question, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, is that I'm a new member to this community. That the former nominated candidate for this position has asked me to step in and speak to the issues the larger provincial issues that are going on for the Green Party of Ontario, to bring a voice, to bring and sit as opposition here at this table and at previous debates and all that's been going on, and just showing that there's an alternative.
Thank you. Mr. Young.
I'm 34 years old, not as old as some of the other members here seeking office. That said, I have spent 13 years at a company called General Dynamics. It's a big company, it's not a small one. We've been exporting hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Ottawa-based jobs, Ottawa-based manufacturing outputs. These are all things that we've been doing, and we work hard, we compete hard on the world, and we keep people employed. And I can't think of anything better to do in this community than to give people good, honest paying jobs so they can support their families.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Post.
I'm a small business owner also. I do a few things. I do hire day laborers from missions whenever the opportunity arises in my business. I also donate to various charities to the best of my capacity with my business. That's all I do.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Mr. Trammell.
Well, I ran the first casino where you could play poker and exercise your brain instead of lotteries. And of course, back in the early 1980s, you remember I defended all those poor people who were being foreclosed under Pierre Trudeau's 22% interest rates. Remember me pickling the Bank of Canada every Thursday for 5 years, doing all those anti-foreclosure kits, Mrs. Metcalf, Debate-2013, the Santa Claus, stole our foreclosures like crooks do with appeals. So, and I founded the Finance the First Last. Time bank software lets unemployed mothers in a building say what night they're free to babysit each other's kids and pay each other with 1 hour bills, and that kind of help each other reduces poverty, and I did that worldwide.
Thank you, Mr. Trammell. Ms. Cunicello.
Thank you. I have been the public school trustee for this area for the past 10 years. I have worked very hard on behalf of the community. I have listened to the community. I have learned a lot from the community and what type of leadership they are looking for. I have been vice chair of the school board for the past 3 years, have 10 years of balanced budgets at the school board while ensuring that students have access to the programs they need, ensuring improvements in student achievement and student well-being, and will continue to do so in my role at Queen's Park.
Thank you, Ms. Cunicello. Mr. McGurr, please.
I too run a small business in this riding. I've been on Lancaster Road for most of the past 20 years. In my practice, I support individuals who live in Ottawa South, some of them of course, but more broadly across Ottawa in general. And some of them pick up and they move and they go to France, or they go to Belgium, or they go to the United States, and they can continue as clients in some cases, except when the government says that I'm not allowed to speak to them anymore because they move across the border to Quebec, where they operate a separate kingdom, and I have to have a separate license. And oh, by the way, I also have to have a separate license for my federal civil servant clients who move to Nova Scotia, to British Columbia, to Alberta, and so I pay thousands of dollars in licenses to continue talking to people who wish to have my advice. That's what I do for Ottawa South.
Thank you, Mr. McGurr. Monsieur Brisson.
Back in 1991, I was fed up on being a collector of money for all governments. And long story short, I burnt my vendor's permit in their office on Bank Street, and I told them that I was not going to collect any money for them anymore, that I was not going to be their slave as a tax collector, paid at $1.50 an hour. And I said, if you can pass a law that says that as a small business, I have to collect money for you less than the minimum wage, that's slavery. And I expect you to take me to court. They never did. That was in '91. And it's still happening today. I'm still in business. So that's what I tried to do with small business, is break the bondage of slavery by governments on small business, because we collect 90% of all money that goes to governments, whether federal, provincial, small business collection for them. And we're the slaves here.
Thank you, Mr. Bisson. Mr. Evans.
Well, right now I'm still healing from major surgery, and I'm basically empowering, showing example of empowering disabilities. I'm very much involved in volunteer committees, as a volunteer, helping out in festivals like Blues Fest, Dragon Boat Fest, other things. More serious things like I'm a current member of the Ottawa Crime Stopper Board, and I'm also an active member in Acorn, Ottawa. It's a grassroots organization that has all political parties involved, and we fight for the good cause for everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Fraser.
For the last 14 years, I've been working out of the community office here on Kilbourne Avenue, helping families and helping those organizations that help families. It's a great privilege to be able to help people when they've got a challenge or a problem or a question that they have to get answered. I've been fortunate to work with many leaders in our community, Southeast Ottawa, the Ottawa Hospital, CHEO, St. Pat's, Pearly Reno Veterans, Better Beginnings in Hetherington, to build partnerships to help them do those things they need to do to help people. It's a really very experience that it's been a great experience for me. It's the easiest way to say it. I've volunteered with Canterbury Mustangs. I coached here where my son James was in his teens. And I've also volunteered in palliative care for about 2 years at the Ottawa Hospital here back in the mid-90s.
Thank you, Mr. Fraser. Thank you for that question.